Hello and welcome back to Redirecting. I wanted to bring an update on the story of the young woman who was attacked by all of those big young men not too long ago. We shared that story, and the young lady is, her family says she's not doing well. Her spirit is broken. She's very bruised physically, and just a number of different things going on. Emotional scarring. Very tragic incident indeed, and we feel bad for her and what she had to endure at the hands of all of these young black men. Now, I wanted to speak on the fact that some of the parents of these young men have turned them in. Quite a few of them have been turned in, and I'm glad to hear that the parents took that road. Some of them said that you're going to face the consequences for what you've done here. That situation was very ugly. It was very problematic, and it shows a lot of the dysfunction that happens in the black community. But these parents stepping up and saying, no, you are going to face the consequences of this, I think was a very brave step on their parts. Now, I'm hearing that they won't be charged as adults, but they will be charged as juveniles. In my opinion, I think they should have been charged as adults. Some of you won't agree with that. You'll say, oh, this is a first time offense and they're young, and a lot of them were only 14. I don't really care about that because of what they did to her. We're not talking about just a simple robbing of someone or taking something that doesn't belong to you. We're talking about a young woman who was beat unconscious, and they knew exactly what they were doing. They knew what they were doing. She was beat unconscious. And so I think a lot more should be done. I don't think it should be just tried as juveniles. And again, I know some of you won't agree with me because you feel like too many of our young people are being sent to prison anyway. And so you don't want to see that happen in this case. And most of the time, I would agree with you. Like the bogus drug charges and things of that nature, I would agree with you in certain things, right? But when you are talking about a person's life, a person who could have lost their life, I mean, she was literally being stumped and kicked in the ground. That to me is heinous. These people, these young men have shown and proven that they are capable of doing that to anyone. For them to do this and then take her personal items, her shoes and credit card and phone, that is a bad problem right there. And they could ultimately grow up and do even more damage to someone else. We have a lot of sympathizers in our community because we like to hang on the curses and say, well, it's because of the curses, this, that, and the other. And so even if a person does lose their life or get hurt really bad, some of us, not all of us, some of us have more sympathy for the person who did this to her or the people who did this to her than herself, because you don't want to see the curses play out on his life, the young men's lives that may have to go to jail for what they have done. But anyway, I was really glad to see that the parents stepped up like this. It takes a brave parent to do this, but I can understand it because many times these young people are so out of control that the parents are like, you know what, I want to do something myself, but, I can't just send him away for talking back and being in my face and stuff like that. But if he commits a crime, hey, you out of here. If you do this, you are going to suffer the consequences because you were headed down this road already. Now, I'm pretty sure out of that group of young men, there are some parents who would say or argue and say that, well, my boy is a good boy. My boy is this. My boy would never do that, Now, I will acknowledge, too, that there are some parents who are just fully unaware of what their children are doing. They have no idea that their children are the monsters that they are. We saw an old case that I don't even remember how it got in my feed, but it was a case of two men who killed someone, two black men, and one of them looked like a church choir boy, and he was trying to pin it on the other one who was kind of slow. The one that was kind of slow was trying to make it seem like he was, a little more innocent than what he was, but neither one of them were innocent. But the one who looked like a church choir boy, he just kind of took me for a loop. He tried to make it seem like the one who was slow, it was the brains behind it all, and the way he spoke so articulately. A lot of people would have been fooled by him. Oh, he's not capable of, well, because someone talks articulate, you don't think they're capable? He was so well spoken and kind of, for lack of a better description, kind of on the nerdy side. And so when I looked at this case, I said, wow, this is really something, because he would have had a lot of people fooled with the way he carried himself. And so I can imagine that there are some parents who are just completely in the dark as to what kind of monster they've raised, because the young man that I'm talking about, he was so crafty in the way he was talking to the officers as they were interrogating him. He was very crafty. And so, yeah, it's very possible. But again, in this case, I'm so glad that the parents took the high road and turned their own kids in so that they can face the consequences. And since they're being tried as juveniles, hopefully maybe they will take this as an opportunity to change their ways, because if they don't, we all know what's coming out on the other side. Okay, that is all for now. With that, I will say shalom. Be sure to ring the bell to be notified of new uploads on this channel, and also comment, share, like, and subscribe.